Welcome in, everybody. It's the At Home Show, coming to you live from the Green Room Studios here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. It's your Saturday morning tradition, ladies and gentlemen. It's been coming to you for parts of 2 centuries, 2 millennia, and nearly 4 decades. It's over 4 decades. Nearly a quarter of a century continuously operated. Hey, I am Josh Cary.
And I am David Bates.
And we're here again. It's time. I mean, it's time to garden up, tighten up, do whatever it is you need to do today, because there's a big football game at 3:30. You need to be sitting in front of your television at that point in time, cheering on your Tennessee Titans.
Tyler's working on my computer right now, and I'm just out of reach.
Yes,
he's got a technical touch that I don't possess, and I'm trying to get that back up. But what we will do in the meantime is that I'll go ahead and talk about the weather. Even though I'm not unable to currently bring it up. It is quite chilly, and of course today is Saturday, and it is this is the 21st or 22nd.
It's the day that number 22 comes back. It's 22 on 22.
1/22/22.
With
and
22.
Of course we are expecting moderating conditions, and although you can't tell it if you walk outside right now, I'm currently here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. It is 12 degrees, so it's quite a chilly go this morning. If you're going to go out, don't go out without proper layers and all that on, but we are going to have partly cloudy conditions today and getting up to a scorching 37 degrees. And that's a little bit better than yesterday. Maybe not hugely better, but it is an improvement, and we will take that, because on Sunday it even improves a little bit more with, again, partly cloudy conditions, 49 degrees. One thing you will see missing from our forecasts for
David?
the next week is yes.
Do you have the weather pulled up right now? Because I'm not seeing it on our TV.
No, what I was saying when you were preoccupied is that I've lost connection to that computer.
Oh my goodness! Can I reset it for you?
Well, maybe, but I'm just talking about the weather because I don't have it available to reset. So that's the problem. We had technical snafu a minute before we went on the air. That computer either crashed or disconnected. I'm unable to get my connection reestablished.
We love those here, don't we?
We do, particularly when it comes right down to where the forecast is coming up. So anyway, without, I will go ahead and resume the forecast. We really have mostly sunny to partly cloudy conditions for the rest of the week. It's going to be seasonably cool. Monday, 54 degrees looks to be the high temperature. 41 Tuesday, 37 again on Wednesday, 47 Thursday, and 39 on Friday. And again, it's still 12 degrees here at Bates Nursery Station. And thank you, Tyler, for working on my computer there. It's I can barely walk and chew gum at one time, so I'm unable to do that and get the screen up. But regardless, we want to welcome everyone in today. It's a really good day to make plans for things you might be doing tomorrow, because the weather conditions are going to be greatly improving. It's also a great time to be thinking about things on the inside. And on my newsletter this week, talked about people being mindful of the things that are going on outside, and also how to best be mindful of those plants, particularly those in containers that you have out and that could be susceptible to freeze damage. Now, this is a little after the fact. Unfortunately, we haven't had temperatures that are that severe.
Yeah.
But contrary to what it might seem intuitively the case, we do not have, and I'm trying to refresh that, Tyler. It's never come back yet, so I'm going to continue to try that. But
okay, I relaunched the program, but
okay. So anyway, it's the the conditions we've had have not been so severe that you should have any issue with a container planting to this point. However, it's something you need to be mindful of because this just in, winter's not over yet. We're still dealing with
because winter's coming today to the Titan Stadium. You know that, don't you? Winter's coming today.
Yeah.
You can't tell that I'm excited, can you?
Well, you should be excited. And, we want to send a special, we would be remiss, Josh, if we didn't, a special shout out to the sweetheart of the at-home show.
The most ardent Titan fan in the entire region. I'm
not sure she's going to be able to attend live. She has not indicated that she won't be, but
it's game day decision, I'm sure.
Yeah, Sally had a really bad tumble in her sock feet going down the wood steps of her house. Her hand forgot to turn loose, and so she took this really nasty fall, and it was I would say it was a shocking photo to say the very least. Hey, we'll go over the weather here quickly again, and thank you again, Tyler. You see a lot of sunshine and moderating temperatures. We're grateful for that. There's a mention of snow showers way out there at the end of the month, more than a week away. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain because it's purely speculation. It could, in fact, could go to be blizzard or it could be much warmer. So we just don't know. There's your forecast out there. All the days I've mentioned. Season will be cool. We got a little reprieve on Sunday and Monday, and then it dips back down again a bit, but not Arctic cold, just chilly for this time of year, enough to make you break out that winter gear that you have. And again, it's 12 degrees here at the weather station at Bates Nursery. So thanks everybody for bearing with us.
Yep.
We've got a new this. We don't want to take away from the efforts of Tyler and crew on getting our studio revamped. And we've done some painting, we've got some different camera angles, and we're trying to do some things and I think the blue-gray on the walls does a nice job of making the plants pop a lot better. It's easy for them to get lost on the formerly dark wooden paneling that we had on there. So thank you guys for all your efforts. And I know that you've had considerable help from Caroline and Austin as well.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome in, guys.
And they are in the house.
They are.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There they are.
Hi.
Hi, y'all.
Hey, there you are.
We're just quiet this
Good to
morning.
see you this morning. Yep. So we're working our way through this new setup, and obviously, when you make changes, there are just little technical issues that jump up and grab you. So we jumped up and got grabbed, but we showed we could get through it. So we are a interactive program.
We are.
We're live.
Yes. You can. This is live. When will then be now? Soon.
Yes.
So because we're live, you can go to our Facebook page, The At Home Show with Josh, Cary, and David Bates, or Instagram. Either of those places, you can submit questions. We'll be only too happy to do our best to answer those.
Don't forget about YouTube.
Oh my, yes, you must subscribe to the YouTube channel.
That's right.
We really love that, because what that does is that we're trying to get out there and get enough subscribers so that the YouTube algorithm recognizes us. So what you do helps us a lot. So we appreciate that.
So share your
every
friends.
Saturday morning from 8 until 9 live, and then we're rebroadcast whenever it's convenient for you thereafter. So,
yeah, because if what's better than sitting in your living room, streaming it on your television on YouTube. I mean, you could have your cup of coffee. You don't have to look at the little bitty screen and go like that. You can see all the plants that are inside the studio. You can see the videos that show up inside the studio.
That does make life just a little bit easier. That's what it does. And it's what we're all about, is trying to make life a little bit easier for you. There's enough complications that come along, horticulturally speaking, and maybe we can help you negotiate around some of those. Cold weather always makes me think about watering containers, and also I want to call you in on this conversation. It's very counterintuitive for a lot of folks to think about before cold weather is coming, to get out there and water these container planters that you have around the home. And the first thought is, well, but yes, won't that water freeze? And the answer to that question is yes.
Yes,
of course, it will freeze. But it freezes for good reason, and it helps to slow down the temperature change, and it does provide significant insulation.
Yeah, water's a great insulator for sure, and the pod's gonna freeze anyway. If you have it outside and it gets this cold, it's gonna freeze no matter if you water it or if you don't. But if you do water it, you're gonna have much better insulation around those roots, and some of those touchy containerized plants will handle it a lot better than if you didn't. So it's a good rule of thumb. I used to grow a lot of poinsettias, and whenever it would get really, really cold at night, our heaters couldn't really keep up all that great. So temperatures would dip lower than what we wanted them to. So if that were ever to happen, we would make sure to water all those poinsettias nice and thoroughly before we had that cold event, and we saw much better results after that.
Absolutely. It does seem strange because water indeed does freeze at 32 degrees, but what you're trying to do when you water, and this is particularly true for broadleaf evergreens, say you have boxwood or that kind of thing in your planter, what you're trying to do is keep that soil temperature from going below, trying to keep it from going below the 17 degree mark. And 17 degrees is pertinent because that's where root damage begins to occur on a whole lot of things. So by doing so, you're able to provide some additional insulation for that soil, and hopefully get your plants where they come back at it and look wonderful in the spring season, which, is getting closer every day.
Every day.
So that's all you have to say for yourself is
Well, it does.
Josh is clearly distracted with the football weekend ahead. So,
Come on, man. I mean, David, you remember it was back in 1998. You somehow or another scored Super Bowl tickets.
Well, I did. I got drawn in the lottery. And
he was up in the club in the day. Yeah.
I got to broadcast live.
Us
from
lowly
Radio
people
Road.
down in the lower bowl didn't even get.
I was in the nosebleed in the north end zone, so I was at the end of the game. I'm watching the big screen with binoculars, trying to see. That's how far away I was, but I was there.
It was cold that day too, wasn't it?
Well, probably be my one and only Super Bowl, but that was a check on the bucket list. And hopefully today or this weekend will mark the beginning of the Titans' next run to the Super Bowl.
Well,
we wish them every success.
Well, this team does remind me of that team a bit. I mean, there's a certain synchronicity with them that I think we got a lot of things to go on, but
well, they're not.
The kitty cats aren't going to lay down either. Okay.
No, they're not. The Titans are not what you call a flashy team. They're just really solid. And I think the national pundits give us
zero chance.
Hope.
Yeah. None. Zero.
By the way, the Titans are in the playoffs and they happen to be the number one seed. So,
but
that's kind of that.
Hopefully it will, and the spirit is there, and the sound of that stadium in those days, I think, will be revisited today. And should they make it to the AFC Championship game, Nashville's going to shut down. I got a feeling it's going to turn into one heck of a party next weekend. So we get that far.
For those who are poorly informed, Josh, give them details about game time and all of that.
Well, I'm leaving at 11:30. So, I mean, that's going to be.
And the game is like a 3:30 kickoff time. And 4:30 today, Eastern. Not tomorrow,
yes,
right?
Today.
Or are you leaving a day ahead of time?
No. I'm going today. Okay.
Okay.
Right. I hope they play today. I mean, that's what the ticket said.
Well, and the top seed that gives them an extra day should they win to get to the
maybe
next round,
because I think they'll play. I think they play both of the championship games on Sunday. I do believe that's true.
Yeah,
I'm not thinking that far ahead because you can't look. You can't look ahead. You got to play one game at a time, David.
Okay. Well, they're going to get tested today very much adequately. So just go ahead and put it out there, Josh, so we can wrap up this impromptu Titans talk.
Why would we wrap it up? I mean, we got a whole nother hour to talk. I mean, come on. Huh?
What kind of a factor do you anticipate Mr. Henry being today?
I think he will have his impact simply by being on the field, one way or another. Number 7's not too bad either. So, I mean, I don't want the King to hurt his foot any worse than it's possibly done, but he looks pretty good in there. And just the fact that he will be on the field, and every single time he touches the football, there's a chance that Mike Keith will be saying touchdown Titans, which is... we'll see. Like I said, kitty cats are good, man. I mean, they're that little Burrow boy he's okay.
And
I hope Jeff sits on him about 16 times.
Give a big shout out to my friends Mike and Denise Holscher, who are garden center owners in Cincinnati. So I know they're not pulling for the Titans today. And we actually, Renee and I got to go to a ball game in Cincinnati with them back in the day.
Okay.
Yep. And so,
but back to Sally, David.
For their team.
Back to Sally. I know that if she cannot attend the game today, because she sits right at field level too, people. It would get a little rowdy down there, and that scar that she's going to have. There was a picture. If you happen to be friends with, I think I counted about 50 staples. And well, she broke her poor baby. She broke her arm in 3 places. So Sally.
I'm guessing it was a spiral break also, because when you're falling and you hang on, your body tends to twist and flip, and that's the most impressive zipper I've ever seen somebody have. Albeit temporarily installed, but
I mean,
I would have wanted.
If she'd have sewn it up, it would have looked different, because she is the queen of sewing as well. So
right,
I mean,
she might have used
a baby lock. I mean, it would have been.
Yes,
but I picture, and again, folks, when you have oak stairs in your house, it is not uncommon for these slips to happen. But I'm kind of figuring that she kind of may have had something in one hand, slipped to the side, and that arm went down between the wall rail and the wall, and you got to be careful, folks.
Yeah, she said that she had a death grip on the rail, so I think she probably slipped and just held on.
Oh boy, off we go.
Your arm's not meant to take that kind of torque, and unfortunately for her,
carpet runners are a great
broke her arm badly, but fortunately. Those are repairable injuries, and I have had some injuries over the course of the way, but hopefully it won't be stairs, because it's been about a month ago Renee had treads on our oak stairs installed that are very nice looking and functional, and they really help a lot to if you happen to be going up in your sock feet to give you a heightened sense of security.
It's a false sense of security.
Am I going to slip and fall? They do a great job. So I'm pretty sure that the Cheneys will be investigating such.
You could invest in Crocs as well. If you wear your Crocs in the house.
The other part I have also, because I've had some surgeries in the last year or two, is that when they put you in surgery, they give you these socks that have these zigzag grip treads on the bottom.
So they're so fashionable, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, they look, and usually they're either 2 sizes too big or too small. But either way,
do they tie in the back as well? Or
I don't know how much walking around that. But I guess it only takes one fall for somebody to say, no, everybody will wear these from now on. Yep. And you're already dressed so scantily and crazily. Anyway, and they're giving you enough drugs, it doesn't really matter how you look.
It's not the fall that gets you; it's that sudden stop when you get to where it is you're going.
I can speak on that. I can speak. I got to chime in here. I suffered a fall about 5 days ago when we had that snow. So this was outside actually, and then my front porch steps were icy, totally icy. I had went up and down those steps probably 6 or 7 times that day. And was very careful every time. And this last time, I was going down to my truck at night, and I decided to not be as careful as I should. Took the first step right down, went slid down
Ooh.
7 of my front porch steps. I mean, hard as a rock.
Oh,
Broke my ankle. Didn't actually break my ankle. It felt like it. And
Well, you have a suspect ankle anyway, right?
I
mean,
do.
you
That
kind
was
of-
the other one, though. Thank God. Yeah, that
so
one's
you
I
got
had
two
issues
bad
for.
ankles.
But my other one now is sore, and then it took about 2 or 3 days after to feel the other effects from the fall, which was like me trying to hold myself from, I don't know. I slid down the whole thing, and now my right arm and pectoral muscle and shoulder, it's all a thing.
So
Sad.
thank goodness it's still January. We got to get you. Game time's coming up here in a couple of months.
you're going to put him on the IR
Austin-
and take him out? I mean,
Not on the IR. It wasn't that bad.
huh? PUP list? Come on.
Hey, come April, I'm ready.
There you go. Speaking of April, I know we're going to have some things come on, and there are pests that we have to worry about that are going to be going on in April. What can we do now, David?
Tell you what
guys?
you can do right now. I will pitch this over to Caroline. And good morning, Cary. You've taken some measures this week to try to do some very elicit the help from some predatory insects in the greenhouse at Bates Nursery. Why don't you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, so we brought in 6,000 new little employees this week. We released.
They in the union?
Yeah, they're
Okay,
unionized,
okay.
so we got to take it pretty seriously.
Okay.
Ladybugs. So we brought those into the greenhouse. They're a natural form of pest control, and they help pollinate flowers as well. And they're super cute. They're really nice to look at. They're really fun.
You did put you did put a little video out there on.
I did.
One of our. I don't know which page you put. Was that on Instagram? Was it on Facebook?
It's
Both?
on
I
Instagram
can't
and
remember
Facebook. Yeah, it's on the Bates social media page. Oh, there it is. It
Oh
does have
my-
a great
There
song
it
in the
is.
background,
Way to
but we
go.
can't play that
Way to go.
song. Look at them go. So they woke up pretty hungry and thirsty, and they were wild.
Well,
Now-
actually, the thing in a word, rowdy is what the word
Oh,
I saw
yeah.
there.
They woke up very rowdy. But
So yeah.
yeah, so it was very exciting. With our greenhouse, I mean, we don't battle a lot of pests, but you never know what's coming in from our suppliers, and stuff can come in from outside all the time. So it's always good to take preventative measures, just to make sure you have everything under control.
Now, Caroline, where does one
ahead,
buy
Josh.
bugs?
Well, we got that from Nature's Way, which
Okay.
is a beneficial pest supplier. I think they deal primarily with ladybugs.
BPS's, Beneficial Pest Supplier. Okay.
There it is, Josh. They arrived in 2 days, and they were fantastic. So
Now, would you do this in the summertime at your house? I mean, or is this like something that would probably be better? Because a lot of folks are adding greenhouses. So I mean, 6,000 bugs is that's a bunch of bugs. But you've got a big
that's a
greenhouse.
bunch of bugs. You base it off of your square footage.
Okay.
So Austin the other day, took out that measuring tape and used his
Now,
math
and
brain to
those
figure
are
it out.
really for greenhouse use
Okay.
only. Now you would use them outside in the garden perhaps during the growing season, but I would not want to have thousands of lady beetles released inside my
People do
domicile.
it though.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
No, now those that you see that a lot of people have them issues with them are the Asiatic lady beetles that are I
they're
don't know how
invasive
much
yeah.
they're invasive, and they are. I don't know how much they help in actual pest control. I guess you would get some, but
They do help
I
a
don't
little
wanna
bit, but not as much.
They're more of a nuisance.
find out by putting a bunch of them in the house and going, I've got a permanent infestation of those. We're not suggesting you use that for that, but there are other good, very non-toxic things you can use around. Neem oil, Josh, is your favorite product,
Right.
and y'all know you're very particular about the source on that.
Well, you have to have free range neem, okay? Because I mean, you know where it comes from, David. You remember where it came
No,
from?
Josh, why don't you tell us?
It comes from the prostate gland of the male free range neems, because a neem it's a magical creature. You know that. So
Okay.
they don't like giving it up, but I mean, it is You got to get the right
So
one.
there is a little, and I mean very little known fact from Josh about
Little known fact there. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
little known.
In fact, I think I rode on a Neem once out in Colorado.
Yeah. Okay.
You would,
Yeah.
Tyler.
Okay.
They are wonderful.
I think that might,
Where you see a Neem, you usually see
so.
you usually see a unicorn. Okay, and in Colorado, okay,
Yeah.
you hadn't go to the clinic.
They
there.
told me they call them Neemacorns out there.
Neemacorns. Okay.
Neemacorns. Speaking of neem oil, we actually have a question, so we can
Mm-hmm.
lead that into our first question of the day.
Very good.
So somebody asked tips for spraying a large plant that needs neem oil without making a huge mess inside. Well, you can always put plastic down. That's a good option if you are heavily spraying, but usually with my big plants, I will spray the towel, paper towel, whatever I'm using, rag to wipe everything down, and then just wipe the leaves. I mean, you don't have to get too wild with it. You do want to get neem oil on it so it, basically smothers the insects, the pests that are on your plant. So I'd say your best bet is probably just to put plastic down. What do you say,
Now, if you have
Austin?
a large enough shower area,
Yeah.
you can move them into the
Oh,
shower one
that's
at a time,
true.
and spray them in the shower, and then give them a minute.
Do you wear
to
your
stop
clothes in the
breathing.
shower when you're doing this, or would
Swim
the
trunks.
swimming trunks?
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go. Swim trunks.
Or just wait for like a mild day where it's like, 50 and take it outside.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and perhaps Tuesday is that day this week if you're really interested in that. Now, in addition to neem oil, insecticidal soap also is a quite an effective insecticide that is organic approved.
Yes.
So it is the product of choice for many organic gardeners and farmers for that matter. So between neem oil and insecticidal soap, those both give a lot of benefit without doing harm to the applicator, be
Right.
it either while you're spraying or after you are harvesting the fruit to be able to eat that. So they're both really excellent ideas to keep things looking good and to avoid using chemicals. Now, and here's something else that Austin, I'd like to hear you talk a little bit about is the need for these things to work really well. You need to really be in tune with your plants. And Caroline, I know you deal with this a lot also in the greenhouse. You got to be looking at plants and catch these things at the early stages if you're going to expect to have good success using these organic type approaches.
Yeah, most definitely. Scouting is the word we use for that, and looking around. Really all that means is just looking at your plant, really looking at the front side, the back side, the stems, the crevices. Bugs are good at hiding.
Yep.
And we talked
So
about
good at it.
6,000 insects, that we brought into the greenhouse. 6,000 insects isn't all that much when it comes to insects. You can see an infestation go from 1 to 100 really, really quickly. So especially those summertime insects, say spider mites, they can reproduce very rapidly. And if you get a bad one, especially on a conifer, outside in the garden, if you get spider mites that start to get rampant on you,
Yep.
you're not going to see that come back or bounce back well. Leafy things that can take damage and then re-leaf back out are one thing, but conifers that have, needles or if they start to get spider mite damage that gets way too high, you're going to lose that plant, unfortunately. So, yeah, good scouting. Just look at your plants. It's fun, especially in the wintertime. I don't know about y'all, but you start to get antsy over the winter. And we talked about it last week, looking at these plant magazines. I mean, I am getting the bug in getting ready for spring. So I'm looking at my plants. I've been trying to keep my house plants watered and looking good. It's been a dry winter. I was telling Caroline this yesterday. My houseplants are just not looking all that great. It's just dry in my home. I don't get a ton of sunlight, so I'm not discouraged. I know that they'll be fine. I just got to get them through the winter. Just look rough.
They'll
It's
make it.
okay. They're not dead, but they're looking a little rough. So I'm really, really ready for spring to come on back. I know we still got some time to go, but look at those plants now and make sure you get rid of those pest issues before you have to deal with it in the spring whenever those bugs really start reproducing.
Well, it's going to be a great week to do it. I mean, with the amount of sun. Now did we mention dormant oil? When we talked about neem oil and insecticidal soap, I mean,
Dormant oil's in there as well. I think of dormant oil a lot more for deciduous woody plants, specifically fruit trees.
Right.
Yeah, so if
That's
you
where I
have
was
the
going.
dormant oil, yes, and you have overwintering pests, especially on, say, peach trees, they really overwinter some nasty stuff, mainly fungus this year. Specifically, we had a pretty bad year for peaches when it came to, we got some peaches, but a lot of them got that what is that? Gray mold. A lot of them had gray mold.
Brown rot.
Brown rot. There was a lot of that.
It was really bad. And, you know, we had a lot of rain last year, which exacerbates that issue. And
those fruits
we would have had a
persist.
bumper crop of peaches.
Yeah, I
Yes.
know. But those fruits will, those nasty fruit peaches. My mom's got one, is what I say. My mom's got a peach tree, and right now I haven't some mummified peaches, if you will, that had that fungus on them last year that sit on the tree and overwinter. You got to remove those, and then we got to get some dormant oil on top of that to kind of
You don't
stop
want
that
those
from spreading.
mummified peaches, stalking you in the nighttime. You
Sounds
have to
spooky.
give them. You used to have to use tunna leaves, as I recall, back in the day. But that's another
What
issue.
kind of leaves?
Tunna leaves.
Tunna?
I don't know what tunna leaves are, but that's what they used to say on the old Boris Karloff movie. But hey, let's talk for a minute while we're on the subject
Book of
of
the Dead
organics.
thing going
let's
on
talk.
there.
Let's talk about Earth Mix garden products and the decidedly organic approach. You know, if you're trying to grow things on your own, you don't want to use chemicals. You want to use everything you can to give yourself the best opportunity to avoid using chemicals at all. And one of the great things you can do is to give your plants the absolute best vigor, the best vitality you can provide for them. And Earth Mix Garden Products gives you that. You know, success begins at the ground level with, we like to say, with Earth Mix Garden Products. And no matter what you're trying to grow, whether it's garden plants later on, or if you are growing indoor plants like we've been talking about with Caroline a lot today, Proganics Eye is a great choice for that.
Absolutely.
One of the great benefits of using Earth Mix Garden Products is that there is no peat in any of it. So if you're using either Sustain or Proganics Eye, there is no peat, zero peat, and therefore you won't get those pesky greenhouse fungus gnats that are so they're really irritating. So you can avoid having those. Plus, you can use a product that is decidedly greener as far as the impact for carbon. So
peat is not a renewable resource either, is it?
It's really so. It only takes about 1,000 years to get an inch of it. So
Wow.
So yeah, that's a carbon sink that's getting used up. There is a shortage on peat right now, so this is maybe the year for you to really consider using something that is a peat alternative. And of course, coconut coir is what is used in all Earth Mix products instead of using peat. So check out the entire line, and they're available all over the United States now, Middle Tennessee, Kentucky. Go to the Fine Earth Mix tab on earthmix.net. Simply scroll down the page there. You'll see all the pins that will show up, even up into Indiana, Ohio, throughout Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. So check all those out at earthmix.net. And do remember that success in gardening begins at the ground level. Earth Mix Garden Products, and we appreciate you giving us a moment to talk about that.
It's
Hey, David,
absolutely true.
we had a question this week I wanted to throw at. Is Earth Mix sterile?
No, it is not sterile.
Thank you.
And it's a good question because that word has been used a lot as though it's a good thing in soils. When you sterilize a soil, say you have something that is loaded up with weed
pallets
seed or has fungus problems, sterilizing it might be the way to deal with that. But what you also do is you kill off all the beneficial microbes. And soils should be, the naturally occurring soils that nature provides are all very alive and active soils. They have a lot of microbes, a lot of things like mycorrhiza, fungi, endo and ectomicro, humic acid. These are things that keep your soil alive and growing and add vitality to your plants without actually having to add fertilizer at all. So for almost every product in the Earth Mix line, when you plant with it, you're not going to even need to fertilize for the first 4 to 6 weeks.
Nope.
So it's a great question. You don't want sterile soil. You want soil that's alive.
Despite what
growing.
people may tell you about that, I mean, they're going to use it as a marketing tool. So ours is sterile and it's going to be great. Don't bring anything in there, but it's not going to do any good for the plants. I mean, it's just
it gives you nothing. It's just something for the roots to sit in, and that's what they typically will do is sit.
Yep.
So you want to get your plants' roots out there and get them established well. So check that out, earthmix.net, and please support all the great suppliers and sellers of Earth Mix garden products throughout the Eastern U.S. on an ever expanding basis. So thank you for that moment. And so let's kind of shift gears here and talk about dealing with
push the clutch in.
Everybody's itching.
Yes.
Austin was talking about it a few minutes ago, ready to get out there and
You got tomato plants yet, Austin?
We ain't there yet.
Okay,
I've been waiting
all
for
right.
the phone call. It happens earlier and earlier every year.
okay.
I'm assuming February 7th.
Okay.
We're going to get our first phone call. That's my guess.
Okay.
I got tomatoes
Heirloom.
yet.
I don't think it'll be nearly that late. Of course, when you're having cold weather like this, there's a lot of people that are naturally not thinking about it. But you just let a couple of warm days happen back to back with sunshine, and people will go, "Oh, I got to have them." And I think it's worth taking.
Walk
a few
through the
moments.
garage and
This is-
poke a hole in your
this is
pants,
the-
and it's on the old tomato cage. I mean, as soon as they see the tomato cages, they're out there. Oh, yep, we got to go get some plants to put around.
Now, this is the time of year, Austin, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. When people are going to be getting ready, if not already in active preparation, if they're going to germinate their own seeds, this is the time of year that's leading, particularly on the cool season plants. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, kale, all those things. You're going to want to do that. But there's a lot of room for mistakes that people make that are new to gardening and don't understand that there's some. You want to have enough warmth, but really the main thing is having adequate light once they germinate.
Exactly. Yeah. The seed starting inside your home is it's a good temperature in your home. 72 roughly. 70 to 75 degrees in your home is pretty good temperature to germinate seeds. That's not the problem. The problem is once they do get up and they showing their leaves, they really need a lot of light to really make sturdy stems. So whenever you actually do set them out in the garden, they can hold themselves up and not flop. We see this issue with tomatoes really bad. It's not quite time to start your tomatoes yet, but it's getting there. Peppers are the same way, very, very much so. Light lovers. A good little tip I like to use, and that my brother-in-law taught me this actually. He tried it, and he has a grow light, which helps out with light, obviously. But what he did up underneath his seed tray he actually used solo cups, so red solo cups. He didn't do a ton of seeds. He's not doing a whole garden or anything. But what he did was he put aluminum foil down below those cups. So what happens is that light comes down and it hits the bottom, and then it radiates back up as well. So he got very nice seedlings, good strong stems on them. Got a lot more light around that whole thing, and that really helped him out for a lot better germination results. So, like you said, the sun is key.
Yeah, and one thing about it, while those temperatures are great with respect to germination, once they have germinated, they really need to be in much cooler temperatures. You want them to be in order to get a very short, fat seedling that is not going to flop over. You need high light and cool temperatures once they